Vogue, you can just intro us in whenever you want.
Yeah. Ready to roll. Let's do this.
Yeah. All right.
And we are live. What is going on, everyone? Matt Savoca here. Welcome back to the Stokastic Best Ball channel. And we're doing yet another live draft. And one might say that we are incredibly benevolent. You knew we were good people, but now we're incredibly benevolent because you're right. Captain Spock in the chat. What's up, man? You're always here. And you're saying Pomeranian 3 has just come out on Underdog, and you guys are playing Best Ball Mania. Well, we're interested in the big prizes up top. That's for sure. But we also have a special guest today. Rayen, I'm gonna butcher your last name. Patnaik?
It's
Did I get it?
Yeah, it's Patnaik.
Okay, there you go. Got it a little better. And of course, Nick Lepre. Rayen, thank you so much for joining us. How are you today, man?
I'm doing well. Excited to talk some best ball. It's been a best ball summer. A lot of best action. Name your site, and people are just firing away at these drafts. They're fun. They're addicting, and I just enjoy this. This is like goes back to like my fantasy, like playing along fantasy, but now this is the revamped version of having fun. It's a great product. I really enjoy it, so I'm looking forward to it.
I had the great joy of watching someone do their first best ball draft ever over the weekend. A guy in my fantasy league, didn't do it. He did it the right way, by the way. He signed up using promo code Stokastic, got his hands on the best ball draft kit. But he was saying, well, this is great. My favorite day of the season is draft day anyway. So that's just the whole point you're making. It really is sort of the best part of the fantasy football summer. We just get to do it every single day, all summer long. Nick Lepre at Notorious FNTSY. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing pretty solid, and I'm excited to do another one of these. We've been doing this since May at this point, so we're getting close to the finish line is almost there, and BBM 3 is only 66% fill, but I mean, there's like a 0% chance it doesn't fill.
I would put the odds at about 0% that it does not fill. So I think that's about right. These drafts are going to fill pretty quickly once we press go. We had another weekend of preseason NFL football here. I feel like the news was relatively light for a preseason weekend, especially one where the starters played on a bunch of teams, and I would consider that a good thing. Kayvon Thibodeaux looks like he escaped major injury after that scary hit. That Giants first round pick looks like he's going to miss about 3 to 4 weeks. Isaiah Likely is just ridiculous as the second tight end for the Ravens. But anything else caught your eye in this second week of the preseason as we get closer and closer to the season start? Rayen, we'll start with you.
Yeah, obviously, I think just solidifying the Carolina situation. I mean, it was pretty likely that Baker Mayfield renamed the starter. Let's confirm this morning. I think there's a backup quarterback trade with Mullins going to Minnesota. Kenny Galladay continues to struggle in terms of just not getting enough touches in his limited action, but I think he'll be fine come season's end. I think what else did I comment? Tom Brady returning to the Bucs. So there's some worrisome some guys that Tom Brady call it another retirement, but it seems like he had a personal matter. He's back with the Bucs, and once he and Mike Evans also put in full practice, which is great for whoever's getting the stacks with Brady and Evans, and those guys are really happy seeing those types today.
For sure.
Yeah, that was. Go ahead, Nick.
I was going to add on the Michael Thomas hamstring injury is a little bit worrying. Now, I'm not 100% out on Michael Thomas. I'm still going to draft him, but that does make me slightly more nervous to draft him today if we're speaking about drafting right now.
It always worries me too, because again, I'm so far from a doctor, but when you have people who have struggled with knee or ankle injuries and then they struggle with soft tissue injuries, you can't help but think that there's some possible compensatory elements to it. And And that's just the way injuries rack up for players, even really effective ones. Not to say I'm fully out on Michael Thomas. I bet you, though, if we get some positive reports before week 1, we'll see like a big yo-yo on his ADP. Evans, I'm kind of all in on still. It seemed minor from the start, and him back at practice just means he's just a really solid mid-second round pick to me. I do think we could probably go into the draft as we get started here, but man, just I'm at the point where we're getting some reverb, like you're hearing it again, like a little echo. It might be on Rinpack's side. If you just turn down your volume, your mic volume is fine, Rinpack, but your actual speaker on your computer.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll hit up the BBM.
I hope that.
Oh yeah, that sounds a little better on my end.
All right, we should be good. I mean, you never know. Also, StreamYard's a little wonky sometimes too. We'll get down to the draft.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Underdog, man. So many great options for us. The big dog, the Mastiff. Then they got the Pomeranian 3, $3 entry, 0% rake, $15 maximum enter, which makes it really fun. That's my personal favorite DFS style is 20 entry max. So it kind of speaks to me. I'll definitely be getting in there. It's already filling. Like it's like going to fill in one day, but that's a really fun tournament.
Yeah, I've heard Pomeranians fill up pretty damn fast. Within like some, I think some have filled with less than a day, or one of them did. Wild.
Yeah, I think the first one filled in 5 hours.
Yeah. They need to vary the release timing too. Like we need some like in the middle of the night, one for the West Coast crew or something, because these come out at like Monday at like 11 a.m. And so all the degens without normal day jobs just hop in and 50% fill it by the time people are home from work.
Yeah, they also completely removed the slow draft feature for those. So like that's also why it fills so fast, because like people just put in 15 slows instantly. I'm surprised this hasn't filled yet, to be honest.
I know. We just got one left, though. Here we go.
Alrighty. I don't think we've gotten the 101 in a while. I'm feeling the 101 here.
Let's go. I'm checking our YouTube channel real quick, just making sure we didn't do that thing where we forgot to publicize it, because that's definitely happened before. Yeah.
All right.
You believe it's unlisted at the moment?
Well, let's fix that.
Is it actually unlisted?
Yeah.
I'm in there.
Way to go, Savoca.
I didn't know it was my job to list it.
Yes, it is. It's your job.
What did we end up with?
We got the 110.
110.
Oh man, another 110.
Yeah,
all right.
I've been getting like the 105 through 107 in basically every draft I've done recently.
110. That's I like the I do this year being around the 8, 9, 10 spot, or getting the double back end at the end. I have no issues with that. Right there than getting a top. How about you guys?
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed what you said there at the very end. Just getting a wide receiver and then coming around. Is that what you said?
No, I said, do you what your favorite draft spot this year, and all like drafts that you've been doing?
I want 101 or 102.
Okay.
Honestly, the top 4 is fine with me. I think I can interchange, especially if you're multi-drafting. Chase, JJ, Cup, Taylor, McCaffrey. But I still think Taylor and McCaffrey, just from a median and ceiling projection, are kind of head and shoulders above everyone else.
Yeah, I prefer the end because I like double tapping running backs, and I think that's the best spot to do it. At least right now, with some of the ADPs like Saquon and Kamara are kind of still out of whack. Like Kamara's
Saquon,
ADP is still 18.
Yeah, that's just wrong.
Yeah, Saquon's moving up, though. He's now RB8. I still like DeAndre Swift better than him, but that's an argument for something else.
I was in an auction draft, regular fantasy league yesterday where Kamara was priced up with all the first-round running backs. He essentially went as a first-rounder.
Wow.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, if people weren't worried about his suspension, he'd be a first-round pick right now, I'd say. It's just people haven't caught up yet, I guess.
Yeah, Najee went below him in that draft, which was interesting. People are kind of forgetting about just how many touches he's got available to him. And, the offense is a concern, right? But we've seen some absolutely legendary running back seasons on teams that weren't particularly good with young running backs who they were comfortable giving 300 opportunities to. The Steelers have said things about their workload concerns about Najee, but he's still that guy on their offense. Probably going to be available to us. We'll probably take Adams anyway, but just advocate for him.
I don't think I have an ounce of Dalvin Cook, so I would be interested. What do you guys think about Cook, real quick?
Dalvin Cook, I really like Dalvin Cook this year. I think he's one of those guys who's due for touchdown regression in the sense of the positive regression. He's someone who I don't mind taking right here, especially. I think Dalvin Cook's a fantastic pick at this moment. I like a lot. I think the new offense for him could benefit him. I do think he will get more touchdowns than he did last year. So I'm all aboard with this one, Cook. I think we're lucky to get him at this spot.
No objections. Fired up.
Okay. All right. I like Dalvin Cook a decent amount. I do still always just get worried that he's going to miss like 3 games, and that's going to be the 3 games where you need him at the end of the year.
Yeah. I think those are so tough to predict, especially. I mean, injuries are going to happen in every single position, and you just fingers crossed. You just need one team to get unsaved, and hopefully your bench players are the miracle guys, and I think you up towards the playoff round. And once you're in the playoffs, anything can really happen. So I think that's how we got to take it.
Definitely.
Dream goal is to have
2-1.
Oh, that's bold. Fortune favors it, I suppose. I'll wait to tell my story till after the break, but we'll get. Whoa. Okay. This is very interesting for Best Ball Mania. For me, the pick is Kelsey. But yeah.
Yeah.
Kelsey, right?
So who's won before Swift, right? Yeah. It's either Kelsey or it is. I like Kelsey. Yeah, Kelsey, and you can't. I don't think you can go wrong with Kelsey. I think you potentially can get a stud tight end. I love Travis Kelsey. I know he's there up in age. I think he has another great in him.
I agree. I think he should be a first round pick in most drafts. So getting him in the second round to me is a steal.
It'll be
if he were 29. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ryan.
Red zone packages. I also think it'll be interesting to see how the lack of Tyreek Hill, those targets get spread around. I think Kelsey will get a slight bump. I don't think people have talked about it much, but Travis Kelsey is just an absolute stud. Especially in that Andy Reid red zone packages, he just gets involved in many. So
absolutely shredded in the NFL playoffs too. So the last time we saw him on the field, he was just completely dominant.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to figure out who the number 1 receiver is going to be on this team, but we all know that Kelsey is really going to be the number 1 target more than likely.
Yeah, and I've been lucky enough to see a few of your drafts, Rinpack, previous to this, and so I know that this uncertainty for the Kansas City offense is something you've been leaning into for a majority of the summer. Just we're not going to have a situation where a quarterback who is as consistently strong as Patrick Mahomes is going to have so much just kind of murkiness around the target distribution. We can take advantage of that in best ball drafts. 1, by just taking chances with multiple of them, but 2, by adding multiple to them to our team at once. So whether that's Kelsey and Juju or Kelsey and MVS or Hardman or Sky Moore, it's just going to be easy as it's ever been to get Patrick Mahomes attached weapons.
Yeah, I agree with you. And just like the Casey has operated this in the preseason, I've gone a little more bearish on Sky Moore and more bullish on the Vins. But you can't tell me Sky Moore's going to have like a league win. He can win you a week. I think he has that talent with him, but so does Hardman, so does Juju, and definitely does Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I think there's a good chance it can be really good. I'm just overlooking on the Chiefs. I'm just hoping that Mahomes puts on like a Mahomes-esque MVP year. It's been so far since 2018. He has cracked the QB QB throw. So, but it's Patrick Mahomes. I mean, if you're gonna end the season, just one quarterback can get you potentially 60 touchdowns. Mahomes is the first guy I'm looking into. So,
definitely,
I still think he's the best pure passer in the NFL.
Yeah, another thing to look at. Defense isn't all that strong, right? So there could be in some potential shootout games. I know it's a tough conference, but that's going to be a fun conference. I do. There's going to be some shootouts over there with all the improvements the other teams have done as well.
Playing every divisional game against Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, Justin Herbert, that's going to help the Chiefs' offense maintain a high level. Just necessitates a high level of play from their offense week after week.
Nick, any surprising reaches you've seen in the first what about nearing what 310?
Yeah, so basically the only reach at all that we've seen in the draft is James Conner. I love James Conner, but if you take him at pick 13, you are really hurting your team. I think Alvin Kamara falling to 21 is very surprising. I thought that he was really going to go, like, I would have considered him where we took Travis Kelce, so I'm pretty shocked that he keeps falling this far. And like Spock said in the chat, people are now just taking Alvin Kamara in the first round of redraft leagues, in the sharper ones at least.
Oof, yeah. Not a lot of people are going to get a chance to start Cup Kamara, Fournette. Honestly, I guess Fournette at some point win at the 21st pick. That backfield has a little bit more uncertainty, I guess only because Rachaad White has played pretty well, looks pretty firmly entrenched as the running back 2. Though they're probably not going to give a backfield where you need to protect Tom Brady over to a rookie entirely in year 1. They're just probably not going to do it.
I agree. So with this pick here, like is it weird to reach on Mahomes here, or is it not a reach?
So apparently I've done this before. I think there's some solid players available still right now where I don't think it's all that necessary, but I mean, you guys
got
like
10 seconds. So who do you want?
Oh man, I don't mind taking a shot on DJ Moore or Mike Williams.
That's mine.
Okay, DJ Moore.
Nice job, Nick, being quick on the trigger.
So yeah, my thing with DJ Moore, my only concern with DJ Moore, throughout Baker Mayfield's career, he hasn't shown ability to produce super upside wide receiver. That's my only concern with DJ Moore. But I'm willing to take my chance on DJ Moore the 10th situation. And if Baker Field and him have some chemistry, I do think we're sitting pretty.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an interesting situation there. What do you feel about Baker Mayfield? I just think he's I think he's a manager type of a quarterback. He certainly loses some games, but he's good enough to win you some too at times.
100%. Yeah. And by the way, as we get into this pick, my pick for sure would be Mahomes to stack it up with Kelce, personally, because I feel like this is sort of a zone where we're kind of reaching on all of these players in the early 4th. So why not just complete the stack and feel pretty confident about it? But I think Mayfield is going to increase the touchdown rate of both Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore. So if you're talking about 1,000-yard potential plus more touchdowns, that's probably a really good value at the late 3rd, early 4th. I really like Jalen Waddle at that spot as well. He just got a whole lot of opportunity and had a whole lot of efficiency for a rookie to just not improve at all. And I know Tyreek is there, and I know there's a lot of mouths to feed in an offense we're not really sure of, but the profile is good enough, especially in a best ball sense, to chase the ceiling. But DJ Moore, if we're picking up at the end of the first next year,
of my reaching there is Terry McLaurin. We could see what Carson was kind of just glued in on Michael Pittman last year, and one can certainly do with Terry McLaurin. And McLaurin can have top 10 wide receiver outcome or top 5. It didn't shock me just because McLaurin has that ability, and Wentz has shown the tendency to glue in on some guy. Hopefully McLaurin can show one of those underthrown balls. What it's going to be like over there in Washington feels like.
I'm rooting for Terry McLaurin. Don't feel good about it. Don't feel good.
I don't feel bad about it. I like Jahan Dotson a lot too, though. I mean, first round draft capital, he goes in like basically free towards the end of drafts.
I mean, they seem to think in Washington that they have a huge quarterback upgrade this year. But the rest of, the numbers say that Wentz is an average to below average quarterback in most every metric. I got to say, too, that I'm a little biased by the fact that the negative press coming out of Indy it seems voluminous, that they really, really got a bad taste in their mouth from Carson Wentz, and not sure what we're really getting in Washington from him, which is not.
Well, I know what we're getting in Indianapolis, and that's a lot of Paris Campbell.
Oh, I love me some Paris Campbell. It's one of my highest owned receivers in my best mania.
Yeah, I love Paris
Kenyon
Campbell
Drake
as well.
Just released by the Raiders.
Wow, I think he'll get picked up, but that's they gave him a nice contract last year.
Yeah, they gave him a bunch of money, I think 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder where he goes.
I have a lot of Kenyon Drake. That's kind of sad.
I think he'll get picked up.
He will. He's good enough to not necessarily start on a team, but be on a team.
It's fourth round here, crawling. You mind pulling up the draft board again, Nick?
Yeah. I mean, we haven't really seen that many quarterbacks go. This is kind of shocking. I feel like normally, I think Mahomes probably would have made it back to us, if I'm being honest with you. But that's just the risk you have to take when you draft Kelsey. You kind of have to get Mahomes, in my opinion. Who do the Chiefs play week 17?
Denver.
They play the Broncos.
The Broncos, that's what I thought.
There's Herbert at pick 51.
Yeah. What do you guys think about Waller? He's going in the 5th round right now. I definitely like Waller more than Kittle.
Wow. I guess the variability of both players is what scares me. Kittle is the one who's shown me absolutely elite upside, like 150 yards receiving. So I actually like him a little more. How about you, Pat?
So yeah, Kittle has those those massive games like sprinkled throughout the season, and I was kind of hoping Juju might fall to a double stack there. That'd been pretty nice, but yeah, I think I'm still go with concerned with Trey Lance and what Kittle's receiving production is going to look like. When I think a lot of times Lance might just take a scramble, and I think Kittle's production definitely go down. So that's a concern there.
All right, so we are up here. 15 seconds. Who do you guys want? My vote would be either Bateman or Mooney.
Wow.
Sure. I'm actually looking running back here, but
I actually don't mind Cam honestly, but
yep.
I think it's a pretty nice pickup. Akers at the moment here.
All right, we got Akers. Interesting. I don't have much Baker.
I'm just hoping for one season that McVay can trust his guy at running back spot. It's been a while since he ran Gurley's knees into the ground. So hopefully we get just solid production throughout this season. Maybe he's around for the playoffs. But I like Akers spot a lot. I mean he could be easily a top 10 running back in a very, very good offense.
Yeah, I like Akers' skill set. I'm just a little bit worried about how McVay was talking about him, how they're like 1A and 1B type of deal, and that does get me pretty nervous. Like, are they going to use Henderson more than we think? So that's kind of why I faded him. But in the 5th round, I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah, 10 spots below ADP. That's how you differentiate yourself, diversify. Mooney's fine here, but see, I kind of like this spot because we could actually take AJ Dillon here, where I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that a moment ago.
I like Dillon. I do like Dillon here.
Okay, then we'll go Dillon. A report just came out that head coach what's his name, LaFleur, said that it's 1A and 1A with Dylan and Aaron Jones. I'm not too sure how much I believe that, if I'm being honest with you. I think Jones is a better player, but we should see a lot of Dylan this year.
I do think we'll see a lot of Dylan and Jones on the together, a lot more than I think the consensus is considering into the play. It just makes a lot of sense. Jones can operate as a very good receiver in receiver sets, in my opinion. So I do like the Dylan grab here and Dylan beast. I mean, he says he's the strongest running back in the game. He says he has the best quads in the game, and I think Dylan's a solid pick up there.
Yeah, I watched that sleeper draft the other day that AJ Dillon is in, and AJ Dillon in the 9th and 10th round took Romeo Dubes or Dubs, however you say his name, and Aaron Rodgers. So maybe the fact that AJ Dillon is actually there is pretty telling about how good Romeo Dubes is.
That's insider info. I gotta trust it. And here's what's great, because we took Dylan and Akers, and we kind of had to work our way there, because the 5th round is a place where you would kind of like to go wide receiver. But now look at the way the ADP board is kind of setting up. We've got a bunch of receivers that I kind of see all in the same tier. We're going to probably get one of these guys, maybe two. I do think there's a drop off after players like Amari Cooper. I love Kadarius Toney, but just being able to get maybe 2 or 3 from this wide receiver 3 tier, I think is actually very, very helpful. You just lose too much at running back if you don't take it early enough.
I agree. I've been doing this a little bit late on across different sites. I've been kind of loading up and running back in these rounds, kind of getting a little different builds, getting some nice running backs, and kind of just taking some flyers on some late round wide receivers. And if I get lucky, 2 of them hit, and I do think that's kind of a different approach that not many people are doing. I have issues just loading a receiver or a running back. Like talk about opening builds. What, like, is it running back, wide receiver? I think you can make an argument for really anything this year.
Definitely.
As wide open as it's been from a strategy standpoint, especially the first 4 rounds. I think one of the big arguments, my take is that the RB dead zone starts later than people realize. Like Breece Hall and Travis Etienne might take time because they're first-year running backs, but they do not fit the profile of typical RB dead zone running backs. Middle-aged, volume-dependent people. These are high-profile, early draft pick, excellent analytics, workhorses in the making. So
I really like Trey Lance this year. Just a guy who could, if at the end of the season, be a top 4 or 5 quarterback, kind of like what Lamar Jackson did when Flacco left Baltimore, and Lamar just went into MVP type of season. But I mean, Lance was a 3rd pick. I mean, he can do it all, and I like taking. I don't mind taking naked land best ball mania drafts whatsoever. I just bullish on his rushing upside.
Yeah, I think the Trey Lance, Brandon Ayuk stack is going to be very popular in terms of like advancing through the playoffs because of how close they go. Like this guy went with the same thing, Trey Lance and Ayuk. I think I've seen it happen at the turn like a million times.
I actually think the Galaxy Brain move is to draft Lance and one of his running backs, particularly those late round San Francisco running backs, Tyrion Davis-Price, something like that. One thing we saw when Lamar Jackson was having his MVP season is he takes so much attention from linebackers that the rushing lanes for the running backs are actually significantly larger than on most teams. The positive correlation between quarterback and running back on the Baltimore offense was actually much higher than league average. I think we could see something similar with Lance and his running backs in 2022.
Gotcha. So do you want to draft one more running back here and then kind of stay away, or should we go receiver? I think we should definitely get one of the KC guys.
I think we could potentially wait on one of the key guys. Who's on the running back spot?
Jacobs, Hilaire, Edmonds, Sanders.
I think I've done all my best ball teams. I've gotten the Mahomes, Hilaire, Kelsey.
More Chiefs.
But what potentially might that look like for us? Yeah, me too. I don't mind it. I mean, it's a guy overloading on some things.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like everyone's out on Hilaire, right? Everyone's talking about Pacheco. But, do you guys really think Pacheco is going to be the number 1 running back? Like, I'd be shocked if that happened, unless Hilaire got hurt.
So it used to be that Andy Reid's running back 1 was like the most valuable card in the fantasy football game. He always had a bell cow running back. And if you were good enough to make it to the bell cow running back, it was a gold mine. So I don't mind chasing it in the late rounds.
All right. MVS here, or are we just going away from Casey?
I would say MVS, but I have no issues going like Olave, but with the injury situation there in that team, I'd rather take my chances on MVS.
Me too.
All right. I agree. MVS is my highest owned Chiefs player by far.
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah,
This
Sky
is
Moore
such
also
a
looks
this is an
weird
on brand draft, guys. I love it.
Yeah, very on.
Yeah,
It's
I
weird
think
to see
now for a while, guys who are like in the wide receiver board that are up right now, I really like taking chances on guys like he somehow can get a Boyd or in going down a little bit. Like we get, I think one of the rookie receivers is going to be good. Which one it's going to be? Is it going to be Garrett Wilson or Olave, or is it going to be does Treylon Burks shock the world and is he like an elite weapon? I'm not sure, but I do think if we get a couple of these receivers down here, I think we can just load them up and hopefully some of them can like an upside.
Yeah, I'm really high on Jalen Tolbert. I don't know when Michael Gallup's going to come back. Has anyone read anything about Gallup? Like, I haven't seen any news, so I really believe that Tolbert's going to be the guy for at least the first couple of weeks, and then if he really is that good, he could take over from Gallup as the wide receiver too.
Oh wow,
Wow.
that is a very bullish take on it.
Yeah, I mean, he's also a 10th, 11th round pick, so if it doesn't work out, it's not sinking my team, right?
True, agreed. I go to like guy like Boyd, then Tolbert in my opinion. I just think I don't. I think Burrow will bounce back down to earth a little bit this season, but not to like set yourself for potential among Higgins or Jamar Chase. If one of them does go down and Boyd is around, I mean Boyd can have a huge uptake. I mean if those guys weren't there, I think Tyler Boyd's a top 25 receiver, wide receiver, actually top 20. So
I agree. 100%. I'm big on Tyler Boyd. He was a part of one of the videos on the fantasy channel I made. It was like top sleepers or steals in the draft. He's one of them.
How do you feel about Robert Woods, Matt?
Robert Woods is a player that is he's a safe bet, which makes him boring in best ball. And I think that archetype is totally underrated. The 10-point wide receiver 3 that can just lay down a steady drumbeat for your team so that you can induce the variability that naturally comes with the more up and down players that you want to chase in this format. Robert Woods is probably not the skeleton key league winner this year, but does that mean he isn't a really strong plus EV plus advanced rate kind of player that can help you if you have that league winner? I think he's a really strong pick at ADP.
I like that. My boy Damian Pierce keeps moving up the draft board. Pick 99 here. Wouldn't be shocked if he moved up even further, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Captain Spock actually disagrees with me. He says, nah, only chase ceiling. I mean, there's an argument, right? Like we're going for a 0.1% outcome. So the idea that we need just an absolute juggernaut isn't lost on me in this, massive, massive pool of players tournament. I just feel like we still need to make it through the first 12 weeks to get to those playoff rounds and get that 0.1%. Burks and Woods are really interesting to me, and then we can get add a Tannehill at the end if we want.
All right, Rimpack,
well, Boyd is there. We talked to Boyd. I like Boyd better.
Okay. You like Boyd, Rimpack?
Sorry. Yeah, Boyd's here.
Okay. Yeah, I think I have a lot of the Tennessee stacks because I think that Tannehill's like so underrated at this point. What is he, quarterback 23? He's much better than that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I he's I think we can hopefully potentially get one of them on this back around. That'd be nice. But
yeah, what do you guys think about
receivers?
Yeah, our wide receiver room is disgusting. But I was gonna say, what do you guys think about Gibson at this point? Like in the 9th round, do you take him? Because I don't even think I'd take him unless he falls to like the 11th round or the 12th round. And we can get Burks here if you guys want
He's
to
a
lock
no
that
for
in.
me.
Yeah, I don't think. I think I'd stay away from Burks. I would rather go on Woods. I do think another receiver here. To move.
I'm buying the dip on these Tampa Bay receivers, like Jones and Gage, both of them.
I'm down to take Julio Jones. I do think Tom Brady could do something with him.
Okay. Julio's going to be interesting. I feel like he's either going to be really good or just ass, and I don't think there's really any in between, right? Like I think he either is like a league-winning player or he just is terrible, and there's no like 10-point. Like he's not like a safe player in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's a way to describe it. But some receivers that I'm always like concerned about, the New England receivers, Matt Nick, is like handling this in the situation. There's Devontae Parker, Kendrick Bourne, Kobe Myers, and obviously Hunter Henry. They never really used Jonathan Smith in the passing situation. They also have Nelson Aguilar. So it is just a bunch of guys, and I don't even know if one of them are like worthwhile. I do think one of them can certainly be good. I don't know if anyone can be great, is how I feel about the Pats receivers.
My initial run of quarterback rankings for best ball tournaments had Mac Jones, despite being a starting quarterback, at QB 35 because of his lack of elite weeks. And because he doesn't offer a lot of rushing upside, if you're not going to have elite weeks as a passer, that also trickles down to your receivers, which means that not only are there tons of mouths to feed, but there's not even that many weeks where those mouths to feed are worth chasing. So I have a lot of trouble with them. Maybe late I'll take like a Kendrick Bourne or something like that, who had decent efficiency last year, but pretty much out on this New England receiving core.
I still like Devontae Parker. I don't know. I'm just buying into the fact that I think he could just. What if Hunter Henry doesn't score those touchdowns and Devontae Parker does? That's just the only reason why I draft him. But again, I'm not as high as I used to be on him. We don't really have any clear quarterbacks to stack with our guy unless we go with DJ Moore and Baker.
Yeah, Baker. Yeah.
We also have that Carolina versus Tampa run back week 17, which is interesting. I think we do need a Denver player, though, but I don't know which Denver player we're going to be able to get at this point. Probably just Hamler, right?
So
Hamler.
Hamler's fine. In the week 17 correlation, I don't mind like your secondary potential stack being your week 7 correlation. I do a 3 quarterback build, and if we get 2 quarterbacks on the stretch, let's say if we're honing in Baker Tampa correlation potential, I think you could pull that off. It's a lot more different than for Casey stack. I do think a lot of people are targeting Hamler and these guys, right? That's one way to get a little different is potentially doing week 17 correlation, not with initial build, but the second build in a way where there is still correlation.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, for me, 17 correlation, yeah, I do think is strong. I can definitely do damage, but I have no one way or the other.
So Eric in chat, he brings up a good point that a ton of the field in this Best Ball Mania tournament has late round Julio Jones. But I think the more important point here is that if he's going to outplay his ADP and he's going to be something like a 5th to 7th round player, it doesn't really matter that much how much more that we paid. Like we can find other hits later. So I'm not super concerned there. Where do we want to go here? Hardman is there.
Should we go
Albert
receiver?
O.
I mean, we already have so many running backs. I think we have to go receiver.
I don't mind any of those top guys. Hardman, Shark, Holiday. Yeah, those all 3 of those guys look really good to me.
Okay. We'll go Hardman. We'll just go all in on the Kansas City Chiefs. And maybe it will work. Maybe it won't. Who knows? But I like DJ Chark a ton as well. And I think the fact that people are so nervous about Kenny Galladay makes me like him even more. Because I know he's not like a great player. But it's not like Kadarius Toney is Randy Moss or something.
No, I'm bullish Giants offense just because I think Brian Zabel can insert to another level compared to what they've dealt with the last 2 years. And Joe Judge, it just didn't work out. I think Brian Dable is an offensive borderline genius, but he can elevate the team, and I like targeting teams who bring in new coaches.
Yeah, I was at the Giants game yesterday, and there were people chanting to bring Joe Judge back, and I was like, these people are so dumb. But let's go. You want Kenny Galladay?
Yeah, I like Kenny Galladay here.
Okay. My pick would have either been Galladay, or I like Nico Collins a ton. I've really talked myself into him.
Yeah, they're going to need somebody in Houston. Interesting.
This team looks like a team that I would draft. Very on brand, like Stokastic said.
I think we have a really interesting build, to be honest.
Well, we have one person who hates it. That's all right. A lot of people out there hate it, I'm sure. I'm always going to take chances too on like elite offenses that have a huge amount of expected fantasy points around. That's how I kind of see opportunity now, is like what percentage of what size pie am I getting? And Patrick Mahomes' offensive fantasy point availability and Tom Brady's fantasy point availability for his skill position players is just different than the average team. And so even though the weaponry, we're not sure about it, we're not sure how good of a player right now Julio Jones is. And obviously the value isn't perfect, but the ceiling exists in a way for those players in a way that it just doesn't for other players, unless they are the next Justin Jefferson, the next AJ Brown. And frankly, I just don't think I'm good enough to find those people on a consistent basis.
Yeah,
so I'd rather just go with elite offenses.
And also, the key thing, I know Godwin is up and going and practicing everything. He is coming back from an ACL injury where you don't know what that's going to look like in real time speed, like in real game performance. So
yeah,
and I'll take my chances with Julio Jones and Tom Brady. Not to say Julio Jones is Randy Moss, but I need a couple good weeks from Julio Jones, and I think I'll be content with carrying us a little bit. If it doesn't work out, I mean, look, there's so many picks in these rounds where they're not all flowers, but you're trying to find that goal, right? You're trying to find a miracle guy, and
right,
Julio Jones thing can be that. I know we reached, but got to reach some weeks, right?
Yeah. Albert O, the fact that he played in that whole preseason game has me extremely nervous about him. What do you guys think? I mean, when a guy that you expect to be the starter is playing the whole game, that does scare me.
I have a hot take here. I think that they are getting him extra reps because he's about to have a huge role on the team, because they need him to be like a de facto wide receiver 3, and they need to get him extra time because they want him to be on the field. And they were saying that the new offense that they're installing has a little bit of intricacies and difficulties for the tight end position, this move tight end. And so they just need to get him more reps so he's ready. I actually think he's still all systems go. I might end up looking foolish here.
What about Gesicki then? Because Gesicki is like, he might get traded by the Dolphins. Like I'm a Dolphins fan, obviously, so I care a lot about them. I read all the news, and like Gesicki is not very good at blocking. And obviously in McDaniel's scheme, you need to be able to run block. So I'm very nervous about Mike Gesicki as well. I think he's an awful pick, in my opinion, in the 13th, 12th round where he's gone.
The only way it works if he catches a bunch of touchdowns. He gets really positive, like Dawson Knox level touchdown variance.
Yeah, that could be true. What about What do you guys think about KJ Osborne as well? He's a name where the Vikings should be throwing the ball more, but are they going to throw it that much more to where Osborne becomes relevant as the clear number 3 guy?
This is tough for me. Rimpak, do you have any strong feelings about KJ?
Yeah, I think Osborne has the talent, and type of guy I think will shock you in terms of performance. I think Osborne is someone in late round flyers. I have no issues going Osborne. They also are getting a guy in Irv Smith there, so that's their position to look at. Interesting wide receiver situation here. We could.
How about Robbie?
Yeah,
or Hamler.
Yeah, Robbie, and then maybe that. the Bake Show.
Yep.
In honor of him being week 1 starter. I think we can wait on Baker. I think it's an appeal.
Definitely. What's Baker's ADP right now? 194. Do you think him being declared the starter will make it move at all, or no? Because I feel like everyone knew he was the starter.
I think it'll go up a little bit. It has to. I mean, it would make sense for him to go up a little bit. Like him and I think you could tell he should be like around not be around. He should be around golf, but a little bit, right? I don't know. What do you think, Sibler?
I missed which player. I'm sorry, Nick.
You said Goff.
Goff. I just think that people are down on him from an efficiency standpoint because his bad was so bad, especially early on in his career. And then, people check out halfway through the NFL season, so they think of the Lions as an 0-10 team that didn't turn it around at all, when in reality, they actually looked better in the second half of the season, won 3 games. Hamler's the pick for me pretty easily.
Yeah. Do you agree, Impact?
Yeah, I think we can take Hamler here.
All right. Very interesting draft so far. Do you guys want another running back, or do you think we should just go with 4? I feel like we should draft one more, personally.
I love me some hyper fragile.
I'd like to see. I would like to see what the looks like, just because we didn't get like stud wide receivers, covering our ground a little bit with some other wide receivers down the stretcher would be nice. But if there's a running back like down here that you think is an absolute stud, if one of the top guys on their team goes down, I mean, I'll
Zamir White might be the interesting reactionary pick here after the news of Kenyon Drake's release, but we're 15 picks away, so it might be all for naught.
Didn't Josh McDaniels come out and say Amir Abdullah is going to get James White passing role in Las Vegas a couple weeks ago?
I'm not sure.
Wow, did he say that?
That's crazy if he did. I don't think Amir Abdullah is really that good. So a couple years ago, he had a huge hype.
August 11th. They need Amir Abdullah to be special. Wow, that's a nice late round stash.
Yeah, I've been getting him in some late round picks just based off one coach. You know how that.
Yes,
that typically goes very well normally.
We should also think quarterback again. Like Matt Ryan is a teardrop for me here.
Yeah,
I like Matt Ryan. So are we gonna go 3 quarterbacks then? If Ryan falls, so
we'll see what it goes. Ryan, I think Matt put a good point here.
Yeah, would you push it with a Mahomes Baker 2 quarterback build? That feels a little risky, but gotta take some risks here in BBM 3.
Definitely.
Okay.
We definitely need our tight end as well. I was sad to see Tanyan go. His ADP is quickly moving after he got elevated off the pup. So did Logan Thomas. I like Logan Thomas a bunch.
Yeah, I look. Could you go back to the wide receiver board? I want to see who's available.
Yeah.
There are some guys with some serious upside down here that can be top 25, 30 wide receivers at the end of the season. I talked about what's his name, Campbell. Watkins stays healthy.
I still like Sammy too.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like Jamison Crowder, but he's not like one of those. He's not going to finish as a top 24 receiver, but I think he can put up some pretty solid games.
He's struggling. He is not playing as high up on the depth chart as I thought. He dropped a key pass that turned into an interception. I know he's a vet. He's had some solid years, but I don't know.
I mean, his ADP is falling so much. I just saw a clip of him before on Twitter making a one-handed grab. So it's not like he's lost it all. So with Matt Ryan gone, are we just going to commit to the Baker Mayfield Mahomes stack, or are we just going to draft another quarterback instead? I mean, I don't like Mac Jones. I'd like Tannehill or Jared Goff, but we don't really have any.
No, you're right. I think we could do a 2 quarterback build with Baker, or maybe like an 18th round flyer quarterback, like a Kenny Pickett or a Trubisky or something like that.
Mariota, baby.
I have taken flyers with Mariota at the end as well, but
yeah,
there is obviously Desmond Ritter, eventually just wait. But I like Mariota. I think Mariota's had some a fantasy upside when he has been a starter. So who's up on the wide receiver board right now?
Yes, we got Sammy Watkins, Zay Jones, Jameson Crowder, AJ Green, William Fuller, DPJ. I like Watkins, to be honest.
I think that'd be it for me.
Yeah, let's do it.
We don't have a single rookie on our team.
That's good.
We do truly love the old players.
Eric says you guys seem to like dusty old wide receivers. We chase previous volume maybe too hard. Honestly, that may be a leak of mine. So I get it. Searching for repeatability isn't always something you can count on from age 29 and on.
The thing of this would be AJ Green. I mean, that AJ Green fulfilled this motto of what we're going right now.
Yeah, let's just lean in. I like it.
We need our tight end as well.
Later on tight ends, I've liked Hooper. I've liked Mo Alley Cox. Those are the two guys who I've been targeting at the end. Do you have guys that you like towards the end?
Yeah, I love Hooper this year. I really think Hooper is a great tight end. He's just been screwed in the situation he's been put in the last couple of years. But I think at Tennessee, he's pretty clearly the number one guy, and I've seen a lot of praise out of camp for him. So I like that. And this guy takes
I'm down with that. And this is an offense that stays fairly conservative, but in the red zone loves to utilize the tight end. So absolutely down with that. And I'm just going to say it. You got all the buzz this weekend. Isaiah likely has popped enough where he is officially a top 20 tight end for me. I saw something where he's hit a threshold that over the last 15 years, in terms of preseason yardage, that every single tight end who has hit this preseason yardage threshold, I believe it's 200 yards receiving, has become a top 20 tight end that season, like right away. So this is the rookie tight end exception to the rule. What can you really expect from a rookie tight end? But that team needs receiving options.
I just don't.
Yeah. That's I mean, later on, likely. I mean, I'm sure his ADP is probably skyrocketing at this moment.
Skyrocketing.
And Baltimore, in the past, I forget they were up there in running two tight ends, right? Okay, you might know this better than I, but Nick Boyle was there all those years until he got hurt. They would constantly run two tight end sets. Mark Andrew and Hurst were on the field a ton there at times. So, I mean, Harbaugh runs those two tight end sets all the time. So I have no issues if it really just blowing off the cover just performance. I can't fault you for falling fit. Yeah.
The other part I read, not to go too far into just one player, since we are just talking like 16th, 17th round tight ends, low probability plays, but they play zone against Lamar Jackson a ton. Defenses do, because you can't really man up against him. You're going to leave too many holes on the field. If you can have receivers who are talented in finding and sitting within zones, that can be a lifesaver for an offense. Juju Smith-Schuster, notoriously excellent at this as well. Not the same exact player as Isaiah Likely, but this is a player archetype that they could really utilize as a receiving option. And they kind of need a number two there behind Bateman and obviously Andrews.
Receivers are left now. I've been trying to avoid the Odell Beckham Will full situation. I know people are taking some flyers at the end. Personally, I'm trying to stay away from it just because sometimes I could use the other guy who might just put up. That's how I feel, but I just have a lean one way or the other with Fuller, and people will bring Odell.
Yeah, I have a decent amount of Odell. I think that when he comes back, he's going to be very valuable, but Will Fuller actually kind of makes sense more to take ahead of him because Fuller's probably going to play week 1. The question, though, is just why hasn't he been signed yet, right? Like, they're saying, he's waiting until the end of preseason. Like, why doesn't he just sign with the team than just not play in preseason?
I don't know, man. You really think that he's more likely to play week 1?
Wow.
Well, then Odell, of course.
Yeah. Odell coming back from an ACL, there's a good chance I think we see him till December or something like that.
Yeah, I think November for him, but December's not out of the equation, though. Taking Kenny Pickett over Baker Mayfield is an insane person move.
Are we going to get Baker? Now's that concern has
Maybe.
come over me.
Is he gonna fall to us? I don't know.
We have 2 picks left, so are we gonna go?
Waiting with bated breath.
Are we gonna go 2, 4, 10, 2, or 2, 5, 9, 2?
See, I think I like our running back. They're like pretty good. With the
Me
three
too.
of these guys, like I think we need another one. I think just hope finding a flyer get us some points week in and week out be nice. That's how I feel. How about you, Nick? I think you sound like you more want another running back.
I don't need a running back because the one I wanted went Trey Sermon, but
Okay.
I don't know. It's just the fact that we have 2 guys on bye 7. I guess in a big tournament like this, it doesn't really matter as much, but who knows? So we can just go receiver. That's fine with me. What do you want, Savogus? Receiver, right?
I've heard Trey Sermon is fighting for a roster spot with an
I
undrafted
heard
rookie.
that he was like the best running back on the roster.
At this point,
No,
I think I would
like
I would take Crowder here. I know he's been struggling. You could be bullish on the offense of the Bills, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Eric,
And
this is for you. Another 30-plus-year-old wide receiver attached to an elite offense. How dare we?
yeah, I would have loved Tyquan Thornton had he have not gotten hurt like 2 days ago.
He was looking strong.
I just want to avoid New England pass catching situation. That's how I feel about New England.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, I know Thornton's very talented, but why'd you like Thornton in the situation he was in before hurt?
Well, only because he goes in like the 18th round, right? It's not necessarily that I love the situation. It's just I thought he was a talented enough player to where he could potentially command a lot of targets in this offense. And maybe we see the Mac Jones-led Patriots throw the ball a little bit more, maybe without McDaniels there. Maybe that's incorrect, though, right? But that's just what I'm assuming when I take him the 18th round, that the upside's there.
I'm assuming Terrence Marshall he has to be gone by now, right?
Yeah.
We made our pick, though. That was our last.
Yeah, we're done.
That is okay.
Terrence Marshall is still available. People don't take him for some reason. I have a lot of Marshall.
Yeah, that's a good. If he was that DFS, you got to think backwards, right? Like if this is a DFS lineup and Tampa Bay, Carolina is that game you needed to stack, he's sort of that off the wall play that we're going to be talking about in week 17, right?
Yeah.
That
Could
hit, but
yeah, I know Terrence Marshall was still there.
This guy's team I just clicked on went 4 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 7 receivers, and 3 tight ends, and 2 of his quarterbacks may not even play this season. Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis. What an absurd build.
Uniqueness, baby. All about uniqueness. Yeah,
I said that. He's going to run that back in January and be like, look at this dumbass. I actually won. Tannehill's going to get hurt. Malik Willis is going to be the best quarterback in fantasy football.
Well, yeah, that's actually something I was going to say earlier. There's been this trend as the draft finishes up here. People are starting to draft pure handcuffs, quarterback handcuffs, and running back handcuffs with the idea of being unique. What if you catch that injury that happens week 15? So a player with a high advance rate then gets hurt, and suddenly you have their direct backup, a strong situation, whereas nobody else in that field has them. So I have heard that going around the industry. Rinpack, as Nick's pulling up the draft, what do you think of that idea? Is that just getting unique for the sake of being unique and not smart?
Yeah, I see. Personally, I know big of this tournament is right. I don't think you need like 1% on players. I don't think you need that many. I don't think you need that many. I think you can go away with 2 or 3 guys sub 10% that are just amazing miracles. Like the combination probably lost Cooper Kupp, Jonathan Taylor there. That combination probably very, very low owned. But I think I don't think you need to get, for the sake of getting unique in this tournament of this size, I don't think it's that necessary. I just think sprinkling in some late round flies with your stuff along the way should work out. And once you're in the playoffs, like that, anything goes. And then you fingers crossed and things just align that way, and hopefully you're sitting up. That's how I'm looking at it. And maybe correlations work. Maybe they don't. That's just shots you got to take. And in this situation, there's 451,200. So you got to have some fun with it along the way. But I try to shoot for the moon a little bit.
So it really kind of falls into the do whatever you want to try to get weird at the very end of drafts here. Not necessarily the handcuffing is suddenly a good idea. It's just that that's part of the way you get unique.
Let's go back to our draft board, where Nick had brought up when Mahomes comes back. I'm not so sure.
I don't think he does, honestly.
Okay.
I thought he did initially, and then Lamar and Herbert went, and then I was like, yeah, there's no way. Because I don't think people are taking Lamar above Mahomes or Herbert.
Is there a pick on this book, or you're like where we change things up? Like I think we were I think up until Dylan, I think looks great, and then I think it's going instead of like a receiver there, but wide receiver kind of like a dead zone that round. There are no wide receivers drafted around.
It kind of fell, yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of is in a tough spot, maybe.
How many receivers do we draft in a row? 8 receivers in a row.
I love block drafting like that.
Yeah, round 8 through 15.
Now, in terms of correlation purposes, like just to look back and a little bit, we took Otter at the end. And do you think we should send Marshall just for correlation purposes then? I mean, we can't do anything now, but
I mean, I don't know, because we already had a double stack of Carolina, so it's not, you're really forcing things when you go 3 deep, 4 deep, in my opinion. It's good to do, obviously, with like teams like the Chiefs, but who knows how good Baker's going to be, right? So do you really want to go that deep on the Carolina players? Unless you have McCaffrey, then I guess 3 deep makes sense.
Yeah, in the theoretical, like if you look back and this was the winning lineup in Best Ball Mania 3, we're kind of playing it as Carolina Tampa Bay as our skinny stack amongst a larger Kansas City Denver stack, like a Kansas City onslaught with one Denver run back and then the skinny Tampa Bay Carolina. So there's no need to go over the top with our skinny stack on the way back, is kind of my opinion. Plus, we need the floor of making it there to the playoffs and through those later rounds as well. And getting a player attached to the Bills offense can definitely help us do that.
Definitely. I think our team ended up being pretty good. This is probably one of the better teams we've drafted. And this is by far the most different team we've drafted on here, I think.
Yeah, you want to list it off for the people, Nick?
Yeah, I can list it off. So our team is quarterbacks Pat Mahomes, Baker Mayfield. Our running backs are Dalvin Cook, Cam Akers, and A.J. Dillon, and CH as well. And our receivers are DJ Moore, MVS, Tyler Boyd, Julio Jones, McCall Hardman, Kenny Galladay, Robbie, now I.E. Anderson, KJ Hamler, Sammy Watkins, Jameson Crowder. Our tight ends are Travis Kelce, and then my boy Austin Hooper. So again, I do think we did well. And have we done a hyper fragile draft yet on this? I'm not too sure.
We've talked about it, but I'm not sure we've really executed it as textbook as this. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you like the team rim pack?
I love it. You gave me Chiefs overload onslaught. Sign me up. I'm all about the Chiefs overload onslaught. So on brand, and hopefully the dusty old wide receivers just turn back the clock one more time for us.
Just one more year. That's right. Rimpack, thank you so much for joining us, man. It was so much fun having you on the show today. Where can people find you and your work?
Stokastic.com. You can find me on Twitter, Rimpack, and hopefully, you can find this up top at the end of Best Mania 3.
That's right. And Nick, yeah, go ahead. Tell them where you can find him. They all know, but tell them anyway.
Yeah, on Twitter at NotoriousFNTSY, and then on here on the Fantasy channel as well. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Fantasy channel if you haven't already. We put out some very good videos on there. So Stokastic Fantasy Football, I'll link it while we're talking here at the end. But I really appreciate you guys coming out, and make sure you hit the like button too.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out and chat. It makes it such a better experience too. And truly, we love going back and forth. Like, no hard feelings. Tell us our team sucks. Like Eric, that was so much fun going back and forth. And Ethan, you found out you were in the draft with us. What's up, man? Thanks for hanging out too. This is great. My name's Matt, by the way. You can follow me at Draftaholic. We will be back all summer long. We're almost done. Can't believe it. We got real football coming up soon. Like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you get the notification when we go live. For Rinpack, for Nick, I'm Matt. We'll see you guys later.
Adios.